This year isn't just business as usual.
This is not just the next event.
It's more than a place to come get motivation.
We're building a movement.
This weekend is about getting the strategies to take your business to the next level.
It's about freedom.
I know. You want to be a young pro.
And it starts
at the YT Compound 2.0. Let's get it.
Be young pro.
Told yourself you're going to take your life and business to the next level. Make a decision. The time is now. All right, hey, what's up, guys? Josh Lockhart here. It is the Young Pro Podcast. We got a great show for you today. Good friend of mine, Mr. Marcus Twine, has an incredible story, but I hope you enjoyed the video that just played. We have a big event this Thursday for all my friends that are watching this right now. Thursday is the place to be. Of course, you saw it in the video, youngproshowcase.com. That's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you're there. The stream is up on YouTube already. So if you go there right now, it's going to take you to one of our past videos, but make it over to our YouTube channel, Young Pros Official, and you'll see the live stream set up. You can set your reminders. Make sure to do so. So when we go live, you get all of the content. You get to hang out with us. Now, maybe you've seen something and it said, oh, from 6. No, it's not 6. It's not 6. It's 8 p.m. It's 8 p.m. I got to fix that. 8 p.m. Eastern. And so if you're like, oh, it's 8 to 10 for my East Coast folks. It's really 8 to question mark, right? Last time we did this last year, I mean, we were up. Now, you don't have to hang out with us until 2 o'clock in the morning, but we did because this isn't the old pros. No offense for all my wise pros out there. This is the young pros or young in heart. You can hang out with us, but, Marcus, man, glad you can make it here. It's really been exciting to watch your success. And I know you have a lot going on in life. So anytime you can have somebody that's, making good income, right? Building a business while doing all the other stuff. It's really inspiring to me. So glad you could be here. And hey, look forward to seeing you later this week, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can't
yeah.
wait.
So you were on, oh gosh, it's been a few months. You were actually on the show here months back, and you were, I mean, I'm not going to say you were getting started because you definitely weren't, but you were really cranking up momentum at that time.
Right.
And obviously, you and your squad have hit it out the park. So catch me up to speed. What's some things that maybe has transpired over the last couple months that are different from when we talked last, if any?
Right, man. What was that? That was July. I think that was like July or August or something.
Yeah, it was a while back. I'm actually going to look it up while we're talking here.
Yeah. So you like one of those wise prophets because you'll get us on before, and then we're a ring earner now. I'm like, what?
I mean, for sure though. Like
that was my next read.
almost everybody that's been on, right? They've gone on to hit new levels. They've gone on to, hit rings and stuff. So,
Yeah.
maybe I should start playing the lottery.
You might as well. Give me my cut.
Yeah. Now everybody's going to be like, Josh, have me on.
Right. Hey, we popping new ring earners. That's what we do. So
That's it.
Man, to answer your question, I just think we just got focused. We got just super intentional, and we just went to work with the COVID pandemic that happened and kind of shut everything down. So we had to look at different resources. And so, of course, as everybody knows, Zoom, that's been our best friend, right? So we've been Zooming it out every day. And I work full time. So I'm literally on Zooms all day at work when that time was happening. And then, of course, at night, on Zooms all night, back to back sometimes. So, we just went to work, and I think it was just the momentum. You guys know Mr. Hunter's organization was just blowing it out the water, and then we had our open line team, which you'll hear those names here soon enough of new EDs coming up. We just had fun, and we just got super intentional about doing the activity and being consistent with it over time. I think that's really what changed.
Compounding, would you say? Yeah, exactly. That's been my experience. So check this out. Right there, July 14th.
Yep.
And I almost wore a white shirt today, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I wore a white shirt last time.
Right. Yeah, I was at work. I actually got in trouble for that. I was like, all right, I gotta stop posting my stuff on I had to block some people. I was like, yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, you gotta crack a few eggs. Right?
Exactly. Kind of let them know. Gotta tease them, right? Can't be there forever. So
Yeah. Okay. So right. So you mentioned you have a full-time job, right? And you're doing this, and you got a family, and you're coming to Atlanta for the event.
Yes, I'm excited.
So, I was thinking about this earlier. Many people would say, okay, well, if I'm, you just hit the $50,000 ring. Okay. So if you're making that, well, why not quit your job and go full time? And I know everybody has their own answer. So I'm curious, what's your answer to that?
Man, that's a great question. So within my tenure with Legal Shield, like I quit my job prematurely 2 different times. All right. So first time, it was literally my 3rd month in. So like, if you've heard my story before, I was working in retail, and my first month I made $300. My 3rd month I made $1,000. Right now, think about it like this: $1,000 to an 18-year-old. Like I thought I was a millionaire. So I made it. So I go to, and that's extra. So I'm working at Target full time, and I get an extra $1,000 in Legal Shield, and I'm thinking this money is gonna keep coming in. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like deuces. Like I quit my job. Like I thought I would. And then I didn't know anything about business or anything. So that's what kind of messed me up. And then what was it, like 2016? I was working in a nonprofit, and we were making money. Like we were doing $2,000-$3,000 consistently. And kind of same thing, quit prematurely. I didn't have a huge savings saved up, right? My credit wasn't straight, right? So when I quit, right after I quit, I had an emergency surgery, and I had to get my appendix removed, and it knocked me out. Like literally, I almost lost my life, like crazy.
Wow.
And so I couldn't work Legal Shield. I was in the hospital for like a couple of weeks, and I had just quit my job. So literally, I exhausted my savings, and so I had to go back to work. Right. So I didn't have a lot saved up, and of course, the money was still coming in, but as you know, in business, you have ebbs and flows, right? You have ups and downs. It literally is a roller coaster. Like 1 month we had like $11,000 a month. And then just to be fully transparent, the next month it went down to like $2,000. Right. Yeah. So now for me, it's just being smart, building up that savings. Right. And just to be transparent, sometimes you can use your job as a leverage to build other connections, which will actually help you with your business. So a lot of my relationships that I have and people that we've signed up, especially going for the ring run, has came from my job. Like just the parents I work with, people I personally work with, staff. And so for me, it's good because I love what I do and it doesn't feel like work. And so now I'm getting to a space out now, though, where I want to spend more time with my family and my son. Right. And so so to answer your question, it's more so like just being smart about it. Like I would tell anybody, don't quit prematurely because you have to understand business. right? You have expenses, right? So if you quit your job too soon, you have not only your business expenses, but you still have your everyday life expenses. And if you're making money, because you have to invest the money that you make and back into your business, that's super important.
Yeah.
So a lot of the money that I'm making now with Legal Shield, I'm literally just throwing it right back into Legal Shield, and I'm also throwing it into like other traditional businesses.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's, I know a lot of times, we or people get blanket advice, and
Right.
I think it's important for everybody, hey, should I go full time? Should I this, that, or other thing? In any business, it's like, well, you just got to know where you are, right? And what your goals are. And I think for most people, I will give some blanket advice. If you have to ask, what should I do? You definitely shouldn't go full time. But like I have a young guy on my team who's full time. He's making $3,000-$4,000 a month. And, that's more money than he could make on a job right now. And so I remember he was like, well, should I get a job? And we just had a real, like, very cut and dry mathematical conversation, more or less. It was like, okay, here's your goals, and, working a job that you could get right now with your skill set and education, all that would not help you accomplish those at all. Your bills are next to nothing. Your living expenses are next to nothing, right? So this is the time to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you lose, you've essentially lost almost nothing, right? You don't have a family. You don't have all these debt obligations or anything like that. So for him, that was a smart move. For somebody else, in the same, like you take, somebody in his same, like just getting started, whatever. And it's like, they got wife, kids, husband, they got, college debt, they got this, that, and other thing. It's like, well, no, maybe that's a different answer. So you got to be smart about it. So I like what you had to say.
And it's more mental too. Like, I remember Mr. Hunter, we having the conversation about when he was leaving his job, right? He had obviously the money saved up and everything, but it was just a mental thing. Like he was in a space where he knew that it was his time. He wasn't able to commit to his team and do the activity he needed to do because he was at work most of the time. I remember him going to the bathroom and doing 3-way phone calls. Like,
yeah,
he just knew that he was in a space. So it was like, literally, it was a mental decision that was made where it's like, I'm gonna quit, but I'm gonna kill it. And I'm gonna be consistent. Right. And he's used to all that experience. So.
Well, it's the young pros, young professionals, and it's like a professional, right? They know that the game they're in. They can, to a degree, predict the future. They can predict the outcomes.
Exactly.
Right. So, we have our young pro chat, and someone's like, well, how do I make $1,000 a month? It's like, okay, if you can't answer that, not even the how, but like, I'll make $1,000 a month or $1,000 a week or $1,000 a day or whatever the case may be, because I know that I'm capable and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make that happen. It's like, if you can't answer those things for yourself, then, no disrespect, you're an amateur. Everybody that starts there. So for Mr. Hunter, he's like, I've been doing it.
Right.
I've saved, and now it's almost taking away from my business to be on the job. And so I can put more into it. I know exactly what needs to be done to produce the income. So, obviously he's a professional. So, good stuff. I mean, really have to know your craft, So what's, what's going on right now? Right. So you got family stuff, and we kind of had this conversation last time. You got family stuff, you got your job, you got your business, right? So, what's keeping you excited? Is it just if everything's kind of on? Sometimes I think people feel like, oh, you're a 50K ring earner. Okay, great. So it's just on autopilot. Everything's just running smooth, no bumps in the road. You know what I mean? So like, I guess, talk to me about what's getting you excited at the current moment. Or, if you're willing to share, if you have any, what are some challenges that maybe you're trying to work out right now?
Yeah. So, man, we definitely appreciate like all the love, and I know it's been a long journey. So like just being able to knock out this milestone has been huge for us. So just feeling all that, it's like what gets me excited now is other people feeling the same feeling that me and my wife felt over the past few weeks, right? And so I'm more excited, and I was always excited. We would talk about it. We have a mastermind call with our leaders that are up and coming, but I'm more excited to like help them get to their next level. Right?
Yeah.
Help pop new EDs. I'm honored and blessed to have a ring earner on the team. That's an amazing feeling to have a ring earner. So now I want 10 ring earners on the team. Like
right.
Ring earners on the team. So that's what's keeping me excited. And then on the flip side is I'm at a space like I would say just recently I realized like some things had happened, and my son, as you guys can see, I just realized I wasn't spending as much time with him. Like we were grinding for like 10 months, and so I was literally gone like every night, and so I wasn't spending the adequate time. And this is the time frame now. He's 3 years old. Like I need to be there. So I had to schedule it out, but I spend like at least 2 solid days for 3 solid hours every Wednesdays and Saturdays, right? So today, or excuse me, every Wednesdays and Saturdays. And so we get to a space where I'm spending more time with him, and my goal now is to really be able to put myself in a position where I can spend more time with him.
Yeah.
And so, and not be able to have somebody else. I say this all the time. I went to a training and I heard a gentleman say, we all have 24 hours in a day. So my question to you is, how many hours in that day do you actually control? I thought about it, and I was like, dang, like he's right. Like I got somebody that's like, they have 8 hours of my day that I can't control, and I need to get that time back. Right. So right now, that's kind of what's keeping me excited. I've always had a goal to Miss Alistair Edwards' story really inspired me, and I'm gonna get it done. My goal was always to earn 6 figures part-time. Right. So I'm $100,000 ring earner on a part-time basis, just because.
Okay.
More so the story. Like it just sounds good. Like, yeah, I love what I do, but I earn an extra 6 figures part-time.
Right.
So that's been an amazing experience. And for challenges right now, it's just balancing, right? It's just balancing everything out. Our team is going nuts right now. And there's literally folks that I have not met because there's so much going on. And so it's just, I'm trying to get to a space where I'm learning to be more intentional about balancing my time with new associates, and also be in a space of working with those who deserve my time, right? Because I've had that challenge before where people would take advantage of my time, and I would schedule a game plan interview and they don't communicate at the time. Like I'm sure you've been there before.
Yeah.
So,
yes is the answer.
So those are my challenges right now that we're having. So, yeah.
So a lot that you said there, and I was just having this conversation. You know, let's talk about the parenting thing for a minute. I know we talk a lot about business, but family life has, you're outside of business has everything to do with inside of business, right? Like if you're unhealthy in your body, right, that's going to translation into, like, I know people right now that would be making, multiple times of what they are making right now if they were healthier.
Right. Yeah.
That's like right. It's mind boggling. Not that you have to be a health nut, but it's like, you're, energy, all these types of things. Same thing with family. Like I was telling, I don't know where I said this recently, but there was a time a few months ago, this has happened a couple times, where I got really like, there's a lot going on in business and, young pros and all the different stuff that we're doing. And it's like, I was just getting all this stuff done. And I remember one night I sat down to watch a movie with my daughters, and it was like some princess movie. And it was just I sat down, we watched the movie, put him to bed. That's all it was.
Right.
And I felt like I was on vacation. Like it felt like an actual vacation. It was the weirdest thing.
Right.
I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize like how hard I've been going over here. There was another time where we went for a walk around the neighborhood, and, everybody, like we talk about balance. And I think when I think of the word balance, it doesn't adequately describe the feeling that I have when you're more in balance.
Right.
Because we feel it's like, when I think of balance, I think of like a seesaw, and it's like, okay, well, if I put more here, and it's more like, I think of it like we all have our cups. Okay. So you have your son. Okay. You have your wife, the relationship that you have your business, you have your health, you have all these different cups. Right. And the level that you need in your cups might be different than the level I need in my cups.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I went for this walk with my family, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize how low this cup was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I got it, we got back to a good level. And I was like, oh, and I just felt myself operating, better all around. Right. The engine was going better because, I put oil in it. Right.
Right. Yeah. That's it. That's important, man. It took me a long time to realize that. Like, it's good that you have good people around you to remind you. Like, like I've had the conversation with my wife to say, yo, like, we're gonna be a little bit busy. It's gonna be a little bit late nights. But okay, we knocked out the rings. You got it done. So what's going on now? Are you gonna pour a little bit back in my cup? Like, so
yeah.
We had to schedule those out. And I'm more intentional about that now. So
yeah. Well, here's something else to think about. I think there's a flip side to it, and I don't hear people talk about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of parents, they have guilt.
Right.
Like, yeah, me too. I'm like, oh, like I could talk forever on like, I felt like, and my dad, I know he was at different times we talked about it. He felt like he dropped the ball in different areas, but if you ask me, he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, he was there for this and that and the other thing, but he feels like he wasn't.
Right.
So I think that's just a part of it, of any good person, any good parent. Like, you always are going to maybe, not feel like you've done enough.
Yeah.
The other side of that. So what people tend to do, I've noticed, is we go, I need to spend lots of time with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we ask the kid, they probably don't need that much.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Especially when they get older. Right. Now, I think the other thing that is equally important is to have your kids see dad or mom chasing down their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, I specifically remember when I was a kid, watching my parents work really hard through adversity.
Right.
And it's like, I don't specifically remember like, oh, we watched a movie together. Like, I remember that stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But the thing that inspired me the most, like when I was, 19 in college and broke, or, had the difficulty here or there or wherever throughout life, was like, oh, I remember how hard they work, so I have no excuse.
Right.
Like that was more helpful to me than the one time they missed something.
Right.
Exactly. Right. So I'm grateful to work from home. So it's like, on one hand, like, if you're gone all day, they don't miss you as much, because that's just, you're out of sight, out of mind. Exactly. But when you're there and you go downstairs, you go in the bedroom, and they're like, oh, you're going to work again, but they see you working, and that shows them, what they need to be doing. So I don't know. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever talked about that? Yeah.
Yeah. No, my son's definitely gonna see the grind, even when he gets older. Like, I'm always gonna be in a space of just grinding and working, because naturally that's just what we do. But at the same time, it's like, because I don't want my son to be lazy, so he's not gonna be sitting at the couch all day not doing nothing. It's not gonna happen. But I also want him to understand that he has to control his time.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like, I'm gonna have my son get a job and all this stuff as he gets older, just so he can say he worked or whatever. But I also want him to have a mindset at a young age that, like, yo, nobody else can control your time except God and you. Right. And so I want him to see that aspect. Right. And so he knows right now, like, I'm working hard because I want to buy back my time so I can spend with him. And I would hope that over time he'll learn that my dad worked hard so we can have time freedom. And it really takes one person to make that decision in your family, right? Yeah. To change the legacy for the rest of your family from generations to come. And so hopefully we can build that platform up to where he doesn't have to worry about anything anymore, right? If he wants to work, he can. But I also want him to be in a space where he understands, like, hey, the 24 hours in a day that I have, I can delegate that time. So if I want to sleep for 10 hours and work for 4 or 5 hours, but leverage my work, I could do that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely important, man. Definitely.
And you said he's 3 right now?
Yeah, he's 3.
Oh man, when does he turn 4?
March 3rd.
Okay, so he just turned 3.
Just turned 3. Yep.
Okay, so I have a 3-year-old. She'll be 4 next month.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. So and then the oldest one's 6, and she's, oh my gosh, she's so tall, and Dude, I don't know where she gets it from. You know,
How tall are you?
5'8".
You 5'8"?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I think we've had this conversation before because I want to.
Yeah. When you get close to the camera, you just look bigger.
Yeah, I'm saying because I would your frame is probably like at least a 6'2", 6'3", right?
Yeah. It's the shoulders, you know.
That's what's up. Get into the gym, get it in.
Yeah. I wrestled in college, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. No, I've gotten that a bunch though. Like I've gotten that a bunch. I can't think of who was the last that said it, but it was like, you know, they're like, man, you're a lot shorter than I was like, yeah, I know. What are you gonna do,
buddy? Right.
But yeah, my daughter's super tall, and yeah, it's funny. So one's tall and one's shorty.
Do you have them incorporated in your business? Like, what do they do anything with your business to help you?
They're slave drivers.
Okay.
So my oldest daughter, she'll walk in. Like one day I was sitting there, and I think I was like texting somebody, and she goes, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I'm texting. I'm working. She goes, "Stop texting. Make more phone calls."
Wow, let's go.
And I was like, "How many phone calls?" She's like, 158. All right, okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, you know, and they're like, she got a hold of my ring, and she was going around. And
that video, man, that was powerful.
Yeah. And my dude, I think all kids are closers.
Yeah. That's facts.
Like my oldest, she has this thing where, you know, when she wants something, she'll be like, "Hey, Daddy, give me that piece of candy." Be like, "No, baby." "Daddy, give me the piece of candy." "No, baby." "Daddy, give me the piece." She will repeat herself until the second coming of Christ. Like it doesn't matter what you do, what you say. You could ground her, beat her, take anything away. Like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? She will keep asking no matter what. It's incredible. And part of me is like, you know, I want to be like, "Hey, you need to stop asking." Mm-hmm. But the other part of me is like, no, keep asking.
You're either going to do it till you buy or die, just like Legal Shield.
Dude, that's it. So just as quick as I can, like I'm getting her on the phones, you know?
That's That's dope, man. I love it.
Yeah. Now the younger one, dude, she's just super intense. Like she doesn't take that approach, right? It'll be like, Daddy, can I get a piece of candy? And you'll be like, "No." And she'll just be like, "I'll burn the house down. Give me the piece of candy." You know what I mean? Like the other one will just like, it's the river that never stops.
Right.
The other one will just like, it's the explosion that will happen immediately, you know, nuke them.
You love that dynamic, right?
I wasn't ready for it. You know what I mean? Like I just wasn't ready for it, but it's so funny. It's so funny how that goes, right? Are you guys going to have another one?
Possibly. So we dated. It's funny. Every time somebody asks us, we said things will probably slow down the summer of, what is it, 2021 or 2022? So that's kind of like the time frame that we kind of expecting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's being a parent, being a dad is the best thing ever. But yeah, when you have two, it's not two, it's like having three.
Right.
Like it multiplies, it doesn't add. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
you got what, how many girls?
2.
Yeah,
just 2 girls. Just 2 girls.
One and I'll be good.
When here's it, and I don't know, like I don't have a boy, so I can't say exactly. But everybody I talk to, it's like when you have a boy, you know, you have the kid and everything like that. But to me, it's like when you have a girl, it's like that's your little, you know, your little sweetheart. And all of a sudden, any tough guy, right? Because, you know, even probably with your son, you guys roughhouse, and I do with the girls, but it's just different.
Right.
With the girls, it's like any toughness that you did possess, just gone. Out the window. You're just a big pile of mush.
Exactly. Believe it.
Like, yeah, I used to like be able to, like, now my wife, you know, she likes all the like movies of like, you know, kidnapping and this thing happened, mystery.
Right.
And I'm like, no, like anything having to do with anything where a kid is in harm's way of any sort, I will not watch.
Right.
Because it just, man, it does a number on me where it used to not bother me at all. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Two girls to do you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just all together, it's an interesting dynamic to make it all work,
Right?
To make it all work. But so anyway, well, so let's kind of get back to the business a little bit before we wrap up. What if I was the version of Marcus, let's say 2 years ago, and I'm like, hey, I want to hit the ring, and I want to have this team that's expanding. Like, what's some advice that you would give yourself 2 years ago? Like, hey, change this, do that. Like, what would that be, if any?
Man, that's a great question. That's a really good question.
Other than just taking them, going,
yeah, wake up. What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, man. So my immediate answer is just work to build culture with your organization, right? That you will have, right? And culture starts with you, right? So culture starts with you. So work to build culture within your organization. I would definitely tell them to get out of your own way, because I think that was the thing that changed everything for me personally, right? I was always in this space of like comparing myself to other people, right? Around that time, I think it was like 2 years ago, 2017 is when we had that whole, I think this is when millennial movement started, right?
Yep.
So you got all these millennials coming in, and like in 2 months, they're doing like 50K. I'm like, yo, I've been in for 13 years. Like, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? Right. So I was comparing myself, and it was really, it was discouraging. It definitely, I had self-esteem issues. It was a lot. Right. So, and I went to a training, I think I heard it from Mr. Self, where he talked about just kind of stepping out of your own way. And I can't remember the analogy, but he used a reference in the Bible. And I think it was like in the Old Testament. I don't even want to start to share it because I can't remember it all. But I just remember the moment where I was like, listen, you have to allow, and we had leaders on the team. So it was me trying to like control and manage the organization that we were having at the time. Mm-hmm. And when I got out of the way, that's when really everything just started to open up. And so I would tell myself from 2 years ago, just to be in a space of just getting out of your own way, right? Allow success to happen. Allow the system to work. Don't try to work the system, right? Allow the system to work for you.
Right.
And so
no, that's good. Let me ask you something about the culture thing, right? So I hear people talk about that a lot, and I think a lot of people, it's one of those words that we use, and for many people, it's like this shiny unicorn that it's like, where is it at? How do I do it? It exists in some places and not in others. So if somebody's watching this and you're trying to kind of grasp, how do I build culture with my team? What are some practical steps that maybe you would give them?
Oh man. So just one, being genuinely interested in people, right? So I think that would be the biggest thing, is just our culture created within our organization because we got to know one another, right? Even outside of Legal Shield, it wasn't just about Legal Shield. Like, it can't be all about business, right? So knowing that you have 2 daughters is important to me, right? And having those conversations, and because I in the beginning, I was having conversations constantly of just the business. So like, I'll call one of the team members and like, hey, what's going on? How we doing? Anything I can do to support you? Now my conversations are more so like friendship conversations, but we actually have that same dynamic within like a group platform, which is like WhatsApp, right? So all of us are getting to know each other on a personal level within the WhatsApp. And so that would be the first thing. Also, creating a culture of just celebrating other people, celebrating the small wins. People notice that early on, and then they start to do it because they see how important it is. And I'll be honest with you, like, I kind of got away from that recently, so I'm kind of getting back to that. But that's another thing, is every small win, whether somebody makes a phone call, right? I have an associate on the team who, she hasn't sold a membership. She's been involved for about a month or so, and she's been very discouraged, but she completed the gun a certification. I sent her the training on because she's a gun owner and she wants to learn how to market that plan, and she completed it this morning. All right. So immediately, like, congratulating her and just telling her, yo, that's awesome. That's amazing. Like, congratulations on completing the training, which was 10, 15 minutes. Like, that can go a much farther way, longer than just really me just, hey, why haven't you sold a membership? Why haven't you recruited somebody yet? Right. So that culture. So now, like, I know her daughter's in Girl Scouts. I bought cookies from her daughter. Like, it's just that dynamic. Right.
Right.
Now, so just building those relationships with your team is important. And over time, your team will actually do the same thing because they see that it's something that you're doing.
Absolutely. Now, that's really, really good piece of advice. Really appreciate that. Well, my friend, appreciate you being on. And like I said, looking for it. Like, we've talked a bunch, had you on a few times, right? But look forward to seeing you here in a couple of days. And again, everybody can go to our YouTube channel, Young Pros Official, youngproshowcase.com. It'll take you over there, and that's where everything will happen. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I look forward to seeing everybody there. If you have not gone over to our connection site, youngproconnect.com, do that, fill out the form, and you'll always be the first to know. But Mr. Twine,